This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So a rule is nothing but an instance of a class. Okay. And if, for example, if I wanted to create a property, I have to open one of the property rule form. That form is coming from an instance of a class. If I'm creating a property means I'm creating an instance for one of the existing classes. If I wanted to create a section, I'm creating one of the instances for existing class. If I'm creating a flow, I'm creating an instance for another class. If I'm creating a flow action, I'm creating an instance for another class. So there are n number of classes which are there in PRPC. Each form is nothing but an instance of the existing classes. The existing class is called as OBJ class or instance class. If I create a property, this property is nothing but it is coming from the one of the instances classes called as rule hyphen obj hyphen property. This is the name of the class. Okay, and if I'm creating a property means I'm creating an instance for this particular rule obj property class. As I'm creating an instance for this particular class, what type of class is this? Is this a concrete class or abstract class? It is definitely a concrete class because I'm creating an instance. As this is a concrete class, there should be some table associated for this particular class. All the instances which I'm creating for this rule obj property are called as properties. If I create 10 properties, it is nothing but I'm creating 10 instances for this particular class. All these 10 instances are stored in a table which is associated for this particular class. This class is considered as OBJ class or an instance class. So every rule that you are creating, right, either it is a property rule or a flow rule, flow action rule, or a section rule, it is nothing but you are creating an instance for one of the existing classes. That class is called as OBJ class or an instance class. Any questions? This is very important and this is crux of PRPC. If you don't understand this, then learning Pega is waste. You have any questions, you can ask me.
So you mentioned that form is an instance of a class, right?
Yes.
Then properties are, like the fields, or is it a different thing?
See, a field you are calling functionally it as a field. If you speak it in terms of PRPC, I'm calling that field as a property.
Okay. Oh, okay. Just like Java, right? The class and properties. Okay.
Yes, yes. Others. Hari, Prasanna, and Raghav Priya. Have you understood this? Or do you want me to repeat this? Or do you want me to explain in a different way?
We understand. Explain in another way, it will make more sense.
Okay, okay. Prasanna and Raghav Priya, what about you guys?
Yeah, maybe you can explain it as in some other way.
Okay, okay. See, there is a class called as class student. Assume that this is class. We have name, age, and marks. this is a class, right? There is one class called as student, and that student has 3 fields. One is name field, age field, and marks field. Okay. Now I wanted to create 3 students. Those student names are Rama, Krishna, and Shiva. Assume that I'm creating 3 students. If I wanted to create students, okay, what should I do?
Create instance.
I have to create an instance for this particular class, right? I'm creating an instance. So assume that these 3 are the instances. In these 3 instances, you will have name equal to Rama or some ABC, okay, and age is equal to 20, and marks is equal to some 8. See, this is a structure, this is a class, but if I am creating a person called as ABC, then I have to create an instance. What is this box? This box is nothing but a student, right? Whose student name is ABC, whose age is 20 and marks is 80. Similarly, I am creating another name called as DEF XYZ. If I create 100 students, it is nothing but I'm creating 100 instances for this class. Do you agree with this point?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have 100 students, 100 instances of that class student will be created.
Yes. So far, fine, right? Now, same way.
So now you have only 3 instances. That means the student has only 3 students.
3 instances.
Yeah, 3 students, 3 instances.
Yes. One student is nothing but one instance for this particular class. Now, instead of student, I wanted to create properties. If I wanted to create a property, first of all, there should be some class to create a property, right? Now, in the place of student, I'm saying that there is something called as property class. Name of the property, type of the property, control of the property. Okay, assume that there is something called as property class. And if I wanted to create 3 properties, how many instances I should create? 3 instances I should create. For which class? This property class. Okay. Again, I'll repeat this. If I'm creating a property means internally it is creating an instance for this class called as property class. If I create first name, last name, age, gender, marks, and all those things, if I create 100 properties, it is nothing but I'm creating an instance for 100 instances for already existing class called as property. Now, there is a class called as a section class. If I wanted to create sections, I have to create an instance for that particular section class. If I wanted to create a flow, there is a class which is already there in the system. If I'm creating 10 flows means I'm creating 10 instances for that particular flow class. Okay. And this class is called as OBJ class or instance class. On the same lines, if I'm creating a property means I'm creating an instance for this class called as rule obj property. See, if I'm creating a property means there is some class which is already there in the system. That class name is rule obj property. The name of the class itself is rule obj property. If I'm creating a flow, rule obj flow. If I'm creating a flow action, there is a class called as rule obj flow action. If I'm creating a section, there is a class called as rule HTML section. So these are the classes which are already there in the system. If I'm creating a rule means I'm creating an instance for that particular instance class or obj class. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and directly we'll create the properties. So what is our operator name? Our operator name is admin at A Insurance, and install is the password.
We cannot see. Okay, got it.
So where are all these properties should be created? All these properties are should be created in my work class. How to access classes in PRPC? Click on App Explorer. Once you click on App Explorer, so the default class which is shown for you is your work class. And if I wanted to create a property, first thing what I have to do is I have to do a right click on this. You have to hover on create, go to data model, and there is something called as property. Click on this property. So my first property is first name. This is the label of the property. Context means it is nothing but it's an application. In which application you are creating this particular property. It is A Insurance. And apply to means it is the name of the class in which you are creating this property. This is the rule set. Click on create and open.
Do I need to select A Insurance when I open it, or it automatically opened the first one?
So which one you are saying?
Because when we started, it was the application Pega rule screen at the top. Last day we created the class A Insurance. Now when you open the Pega this designer, it came to A Insurance directly.
Yes.
So it's always like that. It will come to the current class or current application, or do we need to select the application?
Yeah, this operator, I've made my application default application as A Insurance.
Okay, good. Okay.
So manually I've done this. So for that reason, once I log into this application, so it is shown A Insurance.
Okay.
So I think in our previous class, we have already created property. That's the reason it says this already exists. First name is already created, and I'll create last name.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Can an operator can access multiple applications?
Yes. One operator can have access to multiple applications, but at one instance of time, you can only access one application.
Can we open the same browser and work on the another tab, and can we access another
session? Like yes, you can open another session and you can log into another application also. Okay. So come back to operator or come back to properties. See, I've given last name, context is A Insurance, applies to class is my work class. Click on create and open. So your property called as last name is created. What's the type of the property? It is text. If I want, I can change. What is the input control? It is text input. Click on save. Your last name is created. We'll see whether it is created in this particular class or not. Just do a right click and click on refresh all. Expand data model tab. Expand property. See, first name and last name are the properties that I have created. Now, I'll create another property called as age property. I'll do it in a different way. See here, there is something called as create button. Okay. From this, go to data model tab. From data model tab, there is property. This is another way of creating rules. This is age property. Context is A insurance and class is work class. Click on create and open. Okay. Change it to integer. If it is an integer, so what type of control is this? It is px integer. Okay. Click on save. Your age property is created, and similarly, I will create gender also.
Is it coming? Because I am seeing the display as well as your the talk is coming differently. I don't know, it's only for me or for everyone.
Is there something lack?
Yeah, it looks like for me it's a delay in between the screen as well as the speak.
Okay. Is it true for others also? What I'm saying and what I'm showing, is there any difference?
It's not for me.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe your internet is a bit slow, I think. Not sure.
Years later, I get it.
I'll go a bit slow, okay? So this is your last name, right? I wanted to create another property called as gender. You can directly go to App Explorer. You can do a right click and you can create, or from create menu, you can click on this create. You can go to data model and you can create property. This way we have seen two ways. Now I'll show you another way. You have to open this existing last name, do a save as. How to do a save as this particular property? There is something called a save button. Besides save, there is menu option. This is menu option. Click on this menu. Click on this save as. Let me keep this as gender. The context is A insurance, applies to class is work class. Click on create and open. Type is text. And what is the control of this gender?
Ready button.
PX radio button. There is something called as PX radio button. Click on this and save it. Let me refresh it. Expand data model, expand property. We have created 4 properties. And we'll create few more. Instead of creating on class, I'll do a right click on property. Create. Directly from property also you can do a right click and you can click on create. Okay. Here I'll do state. Click on create and open. It's of type text. Okay. And the text. See here, what's the control of this state? It should be a drop down. Your state field should be a drop down. From this drop down, you have to select the states. Okay. And this is tx drop down is the control which I have to use if I wanted to display that my control in as a drop down control. Okay. And here, see here, table type. Let's take this as a local list. So here I can configure n number of states. Okay. Let's take this as ap ts tn.
Can I pull this state from a different table instead of hard coding?
Yes, you can do it. You can do it. We'll go back to that part. Okay.
Okay.
So for now, remember that this drop down, the source of this drop down is from some hard coded values. Okay. So that hard coded values are local list. Okay. Some key. Click on save. Okay. You have created states property. Next. So we'll see. Okay. Now I think properties are enough. We'll go back to next thing. So what is my next rule I have to create? What is my next step after creating properties?
Section rule.
What rule I have to create? I have to create a section rule. See here, I have created 5 properties, means how many instances I have created? There is a class called as rule obj property class. So I have created 5 instances for that particular class, rule obj property. Okay. Similarly, what is an instance class of a section? Rule obj section is an instance class of a section rule. If I am creating a rule called as section, means I am creating an instance for that particular class called as rule obj section. Okay, anyways, we'll create a section. How to create a section? Do a right click on this, hold on create. Your section rule comes under user interface category. See, what are these? Application definition, data model, decision. These are categories. So of all the rules are divided into few categories. Some rules comes under data model category, some rules comes under decision category, some rule comes under user interface category. Your section rule comes under user interface category. Your property rule comes under data model category. Hover on user interface and you see something called as section. Click on this section. You can give any name to this section. So I'll give customer details SEC. Just for naming convention, I have given customer details section. Okay. Context is A insurance, applies to class is my work class. Click on create and open. Okay. This is your section rule. Your section rule always comes with a layout. By default, there is some layout called as dynamic layout. Okay. And now, what is a layout? See, a layout is nothing but a table. Assume that it is a kind of table. If I wanted to display all my properties in 3 columns, I can display in 1 column itself, or I can display all my properties in 2 columns, or I can display the same thing in 3 columns also. So that is considered as a layout. Now, what is dynamic layout? A dynamic layout is something like this. See here, if this is the same section, okay, or the screen that you have created, right? If you are trying to access in your mobile phone, the screen of your mobile phone is bit shorter, right? If you are accessing the same screen on your desktop, the screen of your desktop is a different one. So according to the screen size, your layouts are adjusted. See, if I open the same application in my mobile, it is a different screen. It has to fit into that screen. If it is a tablet, it has to fit in the tablet screen. If it is a desktop, it has to fit in the desktop screen. So based on screen size, your application screen should be adjusted, right? Okay, for that purpose we are using dynamic layout. We'll see this. Okay, now what I have to do is, once I create a section, I have to drag and drop all my properties for this section rule. First I'll drop first name. This is how you have to drop your properties. See here, what I did was, can you see last name property? Besides left side to that last name property, there are 6 dots. Okay, this is nothing but a drag drop control. This is nothing. If you hover on this, the icon has been changed. You have to hold this and you have to drag this and you have to place it in the section rule. Once you place it in the section rule, this will be highlighted. Then you have to release it. This is how you have to drag your properties and place it in the section rule. Similarly, I will drag age property. You have to hold this, drag this and place it in the section.
Can I
Similarly,
drag multiple items together?
No, you cannot drag. One time, only one property.
Okay.
States. States. Okay. I've created a section rule. I've dragged my all properties and placed it in the section rule and click on save. Your section rule is successfully created. What next? Create a flow action rule. Configure the above section created in this particular flow action rule. Now I'll create a flow action rule. Do a right click, hover on create. Your flow action rule comes under category called as process. Click on this flow action. Customer details FA. FA is nothing but flow action. Click on create and open. So this is your flow action rule. See here, there is something placeholder called as section rule. On this section rule, click on this, click on down arrow. Once you click on down arrow, it will show you all the section rules which are there in this class. This flow action you have created in a class called as work class. If you click on down arrow, it is showing all the sections which are there in the current class, that is work class. So just do a double click on this. Okay, so you have successfully added section rule in the section field. Click on save. Done. You have created flow action rule. Now I will create, what is my next step? Create a flow rule. Do a right click, go to create, go to process and click on flow. Customer details, flow. Click on create and open. This is your flow rule. How many shapes you are seeing on this flow rule?
2.
2 shapes?
Yes.
3.
3 shapes. One is start shape, assignment shape and end shape. So all these shapes are connected with some connector arrow marks. This arrow mark is nothing but a connector. Okay. So this is the place where you can configure your flow shapes, and this place is considered as a process modeler. This is nothing but process modeler. Okay. So now I have to configure the flow action which is created in my previous steps. So this is flow action, right? Customer details flow action. I will configure that flow action in my flow rule. Where should I configure my flow action rule? On the assignment outgoing connector. You have to configure your flow action rule on assignment. This is assignment. What is the outgoing connector of this assignment? This one, right? I have to configure on this connector. How to configure on this connector? Do a right click on this, click on view properties. Okay, this is the place where you have to configure your flow action, or do a double click on this connector. Once you do a double click on this connector, what happens is you can open the property panel. Okay. Remove this. What is my flow action name? Customer details FA is my flow action name. Click on down arrow and it will show you all the flow actions which are there in the current class, that is work class. Click on this and click on submit. Okay. You have successfully configured your flow action in the flow rule. Click on save. Done. All the steps are done. I've identified the fields, I've identified the type of fields, I've identified the control of those fields. Okay, so I've created the properties, I've created a section rule. After creating the section rule, I've created a flow action rule, and I've configured that section rule in my flow action rule. After creating flow action rule, I've created a flow rule. I've configured this flow action rule in my flow rule, and I've saved the flow rule. So what next? Run the flow and test it. Okay, before running the flow, I wanted to show you a few things. See here, there is something called as actions, right? Click on these actions. There is something called as view Java. Click on view Java. So this is the code which is generated in the background. Who has created this code? System has created this code. Yes. PRPC has created this code. Finally, if I run this flow, right, ultimately that code which is generated is executed in the background. This flow, from actions, click on run. There is some option called as run. Click on this run. Okay, so you have to delete participant. There is something called as parties. So for every flow, there will be default parties. You have to remove that party and click on done. This is the transaction that you have created for that particular flow. This transaction is called as work object. Okay. The transaction which you have created, right? So the transaction ID is C-128. So in terms of PRPC, this transaction is called as work object. What is a work object? A work object is nothing but it is an instance of your work class. It is an instance of your work class. Your work class is instance is called as work object. Anyways, that work object ID is C-128. It has generated some logic there is some logic behind the screens and it has created this ID. Okay. Now, do you see the screen which we have designed?
Yep.
It is first name, last name, age. Forget about gender. We'll see. Okay. This is states drop down. Okay. Once I click on the states drop down, it is showing all the options that I have configured. Okay. So this part we have designed. Did we configure any cancel, save, or submit button? No, we did not configure anything. Okay. So did we configure case details, open assignments, followers, attachments, information, audit? No. All these things are given from the system. Your save, submit, and cancel button, case details, open assignment. We'll come back to these points later. But for now,
Karthik, we did not mention that we want an insurance application, right? We did not mention to Pega that we wanted an insurance application, right? How it got configured to the insurance details?
Which one? Which insurance details?
Like
these are customer details, right?
Like in the case and all that. So it is default case details will come up for anything, even if banking application.
See, insurance case layer. This is coming from application name.
Okay.
Okay. So, anyways, don't forget about this for now. We'll come back to that point. Our concentration for now is on this part: first name, last name, age, gender, and state. The one which we have configured. Okay. I'll give this name as some AAA, some testing. Click on BBB. Age is 28. So gender will come back AP. State is equal to some TS. Okay. Click on submit. Okay. It says thank you for your input, and it has captured the details successfully. Okay. So this is how you need to create your screen. Now I've given my first name, last name, age, all those data, right? So this data is stored. When this data is stored?
In database, Pega database, table.
Okay, table. It is stored in some table. Okay. How it is stored in a table? Once I click on submit, all the values from the UI went to the table and stored it in the table. Okay. Understand this? This is your UI. In UI, you have given first name, last name, some age. Okay. So all these properties, you have given some values to these properties. Some AAA, some BBB. Age is 28. Something like this you have given. So once I click on submit, this thing has a table in the background. What is the table? It is work table. Okay. All these values are stored in a table called as work table. Do you think that it has directly stored in the table? No, it did not store like this. There is a different way of storing is happening in the background. We'll try to understand this. So before the data gets stored into the table, okay, first it will save in some intermediate location. There is some intermediate location or a temporary location called as clipboard. Okay. This is clipboard. So this clipboard is a temporary location. First, whatever the data that you have given on the UI, first it will go and it will store in the clipboard. Okay, from this clipboard, once you click on submit or once you click on confirm, okay, or save, then data from the clipboard is saved into work table. Here the clipboard is something, a temporary location. And similarly, if you wanted to access any work object, first it gets the data from the work table, first it will store in the clipboard, then it will be displayed on the UI. This is how the data is traveling between clipboard and the work table. Again, from work table, clipboard and the UI. Okay. So this is called as clipboard. How to access this clipboard, that we'll see here. Okay. See here, there is, if you see the bottom of the screen, there is something called as clipboard. Click on this clipboard. This is the structure of clipboard. So all these things are pages. And if you wanted to see work object data, all your work object data is stored in a page called as py work page. I'll repeat this. If the data is traveling between an intermediate location called as, or a temporary location called as, a clipboard. From the clipboard, data is stored into the table. Okay, so this clipboard is a temporary location. It is nothing but it's a collection of pages, or simply I can call this as collection of pages. Your work object data is stored in a page called as py work page. This is py work page. See here, age is 28, your first name is AAA, last name is BBB, and state. Okay, here state is at bottom, state is some TS. Okay, now it is storing data here, and from this point it is going to the table. This is the structure of clipboard. Why we are using temporary location, clipboard, all these things we'll see later point of time. Okay, so for today you should understand what is a clipboard, how data is traveling from UI to the table, and how data is getting retrieved from the table. So there is some place called as placeholder called as clipboard placeholder. So in that, data is getting stored first. Okay. So for now or for today, you should understand all these things. Any questions that we have discussed in today's session before we wind up for today?
So, Karthik, so I created a new application and it is asking congratulations, it is asking for to create an administrator or what do you call operator, right? Optionally add users. So what email ID I can put?
It's not email ID. You have to create an operator. And I've shared you one couple of documents, right? How to create an operator, how to create an application, how to add operators to your application. So there is a document which I've shared. Go through those documents, you will come to know that. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thanks for joining.
And where we'll see the application after I created application done, it says congratulations. I don't see my application even under Pega rules.
You will not see immediately, right? So you have to create operators for that particular application, and you have to log into that particular operator.
Okay.
And you will see the application.
Okay, thank you.
I did the same thing, right? Earlier it was Pega rules. I've created an application called as A Insurance, and I've added those operators to A Insurance application.
Okay, okay.
Then from that operator, I've logged into the system. Then it opened A Insurance. Go through the document. It is very clearly written. Okay.
Hello, Karthik. Hello.
Karthik, can you please share the documents with me as well, please, because I didn't get any documents to.
Okay, okay. So, okay. Who is your coordinator?
Prakash from
Okay,
JSV.
I've shared the documents with him, so I cannot directly share with you. Okay, I've shared to
Okay.
Prakash. Prakash will
Okay.
forward the documents. I'll make sure that he'll forward to you. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Hello,
Thank you.
Karthik. Hello.
Yes,
Like you said that rule OBJ property